Here come the flashbangs and the util. Tenacity still taking point. Will be given a chance to take the first duel, and he ends up losing it. One Flacho had got an aggressive through short. Is good for a quick kill, but look at these rotations. The CTs are all here. GXX and Scenari intercepting another two heads in his left. B-Wills and Carson looking, and they've got nothing to do here at all.
Man, Marky got those two entries so quick, and Nouns have had to bail out because of those fast rotates. Carson as well, losing his head. Only B-Wills has the bomb on back, but no teammates to speak of. In a triple peek, they'll just jump right at him. B-Wills stood no chance. So it does stabilize things back into a 4-on-4, where even re-investigating outside of B is a bit of a problem here for the Bad News Eagles, and so they're contained inside of sites. But Synopsy and GXX do have a bit of forward presence, one that Nouns may not expect.
All of this utility is going to be heard coming over. GXX swings out wide. Good for the one, make it two. Now last two remaining are trapped in toilets, and he's happy to deal with them one by one, not expecting the second. Carson will have the bomb plant, or at least potentially to go for it. Doesn't try to fight before planting it down. The double swing from CT is enough. And although there's a lot of damage dealt by the Nouns, BNE will still come out on top.
But we're seeing them actually play pretty self-contained, you know, outside of the anti-eco in which they were hunting just blocks. There's really not been a whole lot to sort of sing about on the Bad News Eagles' aggression, but connector presence already punished. And a boost as well,
Nice
spotted
shot.
out Marky, a lovely shot. He has been hitting some rippers already.
Mark is getting ready, man. He's already zoned into the server. Fool me once from connector, every single other time I'm ready for you. 5-on-2. Fairly feisty down middle. Now I'm sure he's going to think twice, or at least maybe offer a bit more backup before he does choose to do so.
Yeah, I think just realizing that that was an angle he had to be very concerned about.
Well, CJ gets exploratory, and Scenari can just come out on top of that deal. Won't go the Nouns way every single time, and it might not over here either. Stamina's made a lot of noise. One flat through around the corner can look to swing. B-Wills is low. Stamina, not too happy with that short-range duel either, but he will win it out regardless.
Rediverting, throwing some util over on that A-bomb sign, hoping for movement on B, but B and E don't bite.
Scenari takes the first peek. Marky is down, and now they can't funnel through. Stamina trades, but it's only the one to fall. Scenari's still. Marky's not too happy about it. Util being used. One Flasher knows what's up. He can see all those shadows, but now as they're fading away, GXX has a chance to finish off Stamina. What Synopsy began, now GXX can end. Now there's still a lurker over here, ready and waiting. Carson can try and stop rotation from doing much. Scenari has to stop them from actually gaining ground on this B bomb site. Carson's good for one, but Scenari's going to keep them in place. Carson doubles up, but they can't rotate back to the A bomb site, and well, they don't really want to either now that Scenari's down. But the problem is one flat through has come through and dropped the bomb. There's 10 seconds on the clock for them to try and recover it, and it feels like they might not get to it in time. One flat through just fighting away, and now he's won the round out with a flashbang to help out, and now no chances whatsoever. He can duck away. Carson rounds the corner, but won't get the round. BNE do finish off just with a lackluster bomb plant attempt.
Off to on the Bad News Eagles, and that flank from Con is perfectly placed. A 1-on-3 being one out here for the Bad News Eagles to keep it in their favor. One Flatcher just doing such a good job at winning these two fights, and then he understood exactly his position, had to try and play the time, and plays it to it.
And that first threat has been mitigated.
Good awareness from CJ. Juan Flatcher being so hard to pin down, and yeah, the 5-7 overpowers him. Doesn't even hunt down for that extra weapon into the hands of the Bad News Eagles. Understands that connector was under T-side control. Scenari, though, has Marky boxed in now, and suddenly he's exposed. And so this rifle, very retrievable. A man advantage here for Bad News Eagles, and a weapon to work with, too.
Of the CTs to be able to stack up on this A site before they're already hit. Carson trying to close the distance, finds the first. That's beautiful onto Rigon, but there's a swing up before the molly can bloom. GXX, nice shot, drops the bomb, and Carson's fighting all alone where he will fall as well. A 2-on-1 for Stamina to try and put together now.
Oh, An instant headshot there from Stamina, but reading the long flank is a big story, and Scenari finds him. Stamina considered it, but didn't have the health to trade.
Hitman will finally start to come in. Solid start to things, but the CT is just mowing them all down. Stamina and Carson find what responses they can. But with GXX and Synopsy on the retake, this might be difficult. Synopsy's too far off. He couldn't connect in with GXX, and now it's a full 1v3. So despite BNE starting off with all the blockades, it's just not worked out for them. The response frags from Carson and Stamina have been too strong.
Yeah, I mean, that's wonderful work.
Oh, asking each will receive. Looks like there is a full B stack to come through in response to what Nouns have been committing to themselves. Meanwhile, Scenari's fallen as he tries to aggress through. CJ as well as having a field day, just picking up frags all over the place. He does find a bullet in the meanwhile, but at least he does find two.
Monster smoke as well allows that flash to be effective. But I think the flash actually missed.
GXX still wants to make Nouns repress some of memories over on long. Quick wide swing out, but he's caught on the reload. That's a bit greedy. Still does live to tell the tale. Regon will not let CJ have the same fate.
Well, Stamina's also dropped, and Bomb as well spotted in towards Fountain, so rotates can be lent on over here for the Bad News Eagles. Also because their economy hasn't been in the most pristine condition. He hasn't had that AWP too frequently. On Flatro, simple enough kill. B-Will's walking right into his crosshair, and Marky's only got 10 seconds to find something, and all he gets is a bullet to the face.
But not quite enough to give Nouns the best T side. One more round would put them in a good place, to be honest, as Marky is getting aggressive, will not be ready for Synopsy, but his Molotov at least posthumously avenges him. I like me a man who can get his own revenge to his own death. GXX, meanwhile, aggressing through, will do it for his teammates instead, and doubles it up. Regon right there next to him.
Oh god, how has GXX gotten away with that?
He'll have to go through it. And with that, his demise is basically written down. Maybe he tries to phase it, as it will be expiring here and now, but it won't matter regardless. Scenarios here to cover it all off. 10-5, BNE, solid.
Very unconventional setup for Nouns. Triple bathrooms and deep CT on the two remaining Nouns players. This won't leave them in a great position to actually contest them or stop them from getting inside. And so the bomb can go down quite quickly. They just wanted to stay alive, and Juan Flatcher will deny. One player dropped and the extra fallen after the trade. GXX as well covering the con rotate. Nouns just weren't in a position to contest this B-side hit. Bad News Eagles already looking, basically punching in a pistol round as well. More rounds as a result of going for this force buy, but they can get that AWP out quicker.
Well, Scenario and Rigon have already found their entry, so this force buy is looking like it's force die instead. Hey, CJ. CJ gets one. Consolation for bad jokes, bad puns, and bad rhymes. But you know what? It's
well, no flashes and a burst onto the bomb site.
Okay.
Hitting Marky in the ass with the smoke isn't going to make it more effective. Marky 2 kills though, so maybe it's the inspiration he needed. Counter kill onto this A bomb site, and GXX still hunting with this AWP, but that bomb's been dropped outside a Monster, and they've got 15 seconds left. This is not a favorable position here for the Bad News Eagles, and Scenari's trying his best to recover it. CJ dropped, but Marky just teed up for a third frag from Monster. It's a complete shutdown on what was a fake attempt, it looked like, here from the Bad News Eagles.
yeah, CJ's little game of slap ass definitely helped them out over there.
Get a little extra bonus on your deposit, so
Yeah. Now,
I'll
be sure
sign
to
in,
gamble
sign up
responsibly, because sometimes you lose, just like Stamina did down in middle in that duel. B-Wills, good trade, but can he keep himself alive? There's a nade to chase after, but more deadly as GXX is off, has missed a shot, and B-Wills is going to be given a very long lease on life. Who's been giving him his landlord agreement? I need his information.
they're uncertain.
Oh, nice shot from Marky right through the smoke, and he even ends up keeping himself alive, but Scenario just fires out a random shot to the end of it all. For a time, CJ, do you want to take a peek? It is an op on the other side, you know it, but is there a CJ drop down at least?
Ooh, what? Flash missed, but the double swing is enough for at least one more kill. Pistols are still around the corner, and Scenari has his hands on that AWP, the Deeg of Synopsy, striking and ringing the bell of CTs. Nouns also losing CJ into B. This allows enough space for the plant, but the bomb is the one that actually tries to take space.
As I said before, Synopsy's Deagle is a very legitimate threat, as we've just found out. Rifle recovered. He also has the Kevlar, so Scenari not having his shouldn't have mattered too much, but he gets a bit too aggressive back in connector. Stamino's waiting for that exact move to be made, but now Synopsy on the other side of things is still in a great position. There aren't any flashes. They can't really go for a double swing. Great jiggle, but Synopsy dodges it out, wants to finish it with the Deagle, and he will do so. Stamina can't get the frag at all. That Kevlar really helped.
USP as the counter. Maybe if he'd even just committed to the AWP, but shots missed. And Synopsy capitalizing. Couldn't have asked for a more key round.
Is that a scenario? Knows that B-Wolves likes to get aggressive around the toilets, and now that he has spotted out the first scenario, is going to be helped out with just a peek forward. Stamina's Deagle, good for a stray headshot towards the end of the spray. Carson's still here to party, and he will keep re-peeking out Synopsy to intercept. So advantage for BNE is there after the chaos is cleared, but even so, rotation from Nouns. CJ's the one with the rifle, let's not forget, and a deep smoke as well. On top, thought he might want to aggress past the garbage smoke early on, but instead tries to chain back, but there's smokes everywhere.
Marky as well getting his hands on an AK, but Synopsy is trying to keep him pinned in. This wasn't an effort to get this retake underway, unless CJ found these 2 kills in an instant. The round was done and dusted. No kits, didn't have the weaponry, didn't feel confident or comfortable. The 2 extra guns could certainly go a long way into the following round. It's just how much that will matter.
They are very slow though, so B-Wolves actually does have a easy kill on GXX guaranteed. He's looking for a little bit more, but he'll have to settle for just the one and information with it. Now Rigon has even the score, and the problem is he's not ready for B-Wolves, but he doesn't need to be, can turn around so fast. On that flick shot now, inside default, trying to pressure down Heaven, but he's gone too far forward. CJ as well, just holding down the line, gets the second, the scenario alone, and with CJ low, the first is dealt with. Carson was a real troublemaker, and CJ was just a body waiting to be collected. 16-7, BNE make it look easy.
Yeah, that's
Go for it on Mirage. B-Wolves and CJ were not having the best of times, and now with smoke swinging down for top connector, Stamina's been forced off. Great flashbang to make it so they have control over jungle as well, but Stamina has intercepted them with a quick headshot. Marky's done the same, so despite the bomb plan, it is a 3v5 defense.
Was a fairly open plant as well, so the Bad News Eagles being able to get away with that because of the top connector smoke, but yeah, working now 3 versus 5, and there is no kit available here for the Noun side, so they have to go rather quickly. A triple peek into CT is more than GXX bargained for, but there is a flank through middle that Scenari could activate late.
Well, he's been spotted out. CJ was maintaining position in the window while the defuse is coming through. Rigon's taken care of, and Nouns will not lose a single player, even if they do lose out the bomb plant. Great start to things, honestly. The best sample size, I agree. Oh, goodbye, Marky. I'm sorry. GXX has started off only to be traded out very quickly. Rigon's not in a position where he can actually get the vertical angle over B-Wills, so B-Wills will be retreating backwards. No one spotted out Stamina yet in underpass, though. Doesn't seem like anyone will be anytime soon. Rigon should just be a dead man walking. Stamina makes it look easy.
And a troublesome angle to deal with as well. As soon as B-Wills takes attention, suddenly Carson's position is going to be much stronger.
They're keeping so many players alive consistently as well. This is really impressive. So far, the only kill that BNE have found is one on GXX, and Well, CJ will be giving them at least another, but...
Opening duel is enough presence to have Bad News Eagles suddenly redivert.
No, that is definitely one of the big differences you're going to see between Nouns and Wise. One flat through post time running out. Oh, Bruce. CJ does fly ahead and goes ahead and collects a bit more on top of it, but it's still a 2 for 2. GXX keeps himself alive, and Synopsy with a quick drive-by means that there's suddenly an advantage found, maybe the first for BNE. Where in a post plant they look like they might be able to collect this round together. Nouns have been fantastic, but this was not a round they were expecting to be hotly contested in.
A blistering burst. Maybe it's time for Marky to show his green side. Nice nade. A meaty one at that, but the flank from Rigon's already accomplished. Synopsy's just trying to buy more and more time. They do have kits available, but if Rigon can even get one, then suddenly this round flips on its head. Already sticking the defuse and trying to tap away at it. Marky's fully sticking it, and the knife won't connect in time. Nouns, it might have not been the best of ways to start this round, but the finish is about as much as you could ask for. Still flawless here on CT.
I would argue it's also not the best of ways to finish a round, but yes, it is a good ending to get at the very least. I can't believe he gets the full defuse right there. They sticking to the idea of the knife so much that Synopsy, you know, this entry was fantastic for him earlier on, and well,
any other members have stepped up, and even on this one, Bad News Eagle showing a lot of presence over towards A, but B-Wolves on his low HP is committed to a flank, one that's not being anticipated by the Bad News Eagles. One already lined up, and one flat true dropped. Plant is in cover, but Marky, again, spam alongside CJ, the nade to finish off the job. So only 2 members remain here for Bad News Eagles, and not a whole lot of safety, no good positions to hold on to. Scenari bailing himself out of a bad spot, but B-Wills has him boxed in and shot from the back. Synopsy, a kill on that AWP, sure. But how difficult is this going to be? The nade as well slowing him down, but he's actually gone out of Palace, and they have no idea he's committed so far. Inside of the smoke, they'll still spam it with the USP. Synopsy caught on the tail end of it. Leaves Nouns at a deficit. And Audible's given up as well over on B, that they may have vacated the apartments, but there's still another one up there. Even just walking into smoke, taking risks. GXX, an entry on short, something that we're not uncommon to seeing these days.
Especially from him. Person's got a stable hand, but CJ's got an unstable head. It's been removed from his body. A site's been completely vacated, and they still haven't dealt with GXX yet. A lurking, aggressive Opper is definitely a first for me on Mirage, but you know what? That's just the GXX.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing it yesterday too, but... So, yeah, they haven't been able to maintain that reserve on the mid control that Bad News Eagles have been running continuously. 2 players this time over, one in the top mid boxes, one on the corner. GXX already striking in at short, and they are choosing to be aggressive, just doing it so a little bit later, and they find 2 kills from it. A third found over at B as well, trying to run off of a lurk smoke, but Synopsy's out from Palace and taps one out of the server. Back to 2-on-2, and a headshot angle offered up. Rigon brings it back into an advantage. Stamina all that remains, but the bomb is separated heavily from the Bad News Eagles.
Stamina will be able to find the first, though. That brings it back to a one-on-one. Knows that this might be Synopsy coming in from the sidelines, but no, he's got a knife out. He's making so much noise. He's just completely unaware in Synopsy.
Oh, like a quick split.
Well, he might have seen the top of the head, but now there's so many Molotovs going around, and Marky and CJ, though, still right there to back him up. Marky, the only casualty so far, and now it's going to be a quick double crossfire into Rigon as well. He's just not ready for this many players to be here. Nouns might be about to dish out a bit of half by goodness themselves.
Well, a path, underpass, and it's all about whether Stamina can keep himself alive for long enough that he can maybe distract. Oh, never mind. He found the perfect timing. Scenari just gave up his forward position in at market, and Stamina has done enough damage onto Scenari, but a jump spot's finding CJ. But will he anticipate that there's 35 seconds? He could certainly try and escape through market if that's his choice, but still hovering around that site, and he's completely boxed in. Both sides covered. Scenari finding one, but anticipating that B-Wills is there too. B-Wills, the instant headshot. A revolution.
Yes. Rigon on the jump up is caught out. B-Wills will find him right as the connector smoke starts to bloom. The BNU suffer another casualty, but they're not strangers to pushing through smokes themselves. Smoke now on the other side as CJ is unexpected, but Marky has been spotted out again. Entries through short through GXX. What's a tale that we don't know about? Somehow they've brought it from a 5v3 into a 3v2. Nouns have completely lost control of a massive advantage.
Maybe over-analyzing, maybe reading too much into it, but you know, there's a world in which B&E.
Good timing on the Molotov from Carson, but that's just going to be blocking out balcony. Does still let them route through the window, get 2 quick frags. Carson and Marky are down. The B bomb site has unraveled, and Tenacity is not stopping there. They are hunting. And is anyone really surprised about that fact? No, CJ isn't either. He is being converged upon from all sides. There's a pack of wolves circling him, and they have found their prey. Stamina. In an attempt to save this AWP, will have to face off versus so many duels. They are not letting this one go.
Oh. Well, not a bursting Glock, but enough for Juan Fletcher to track that down. No AWP saved. Even with an attempt to dissipate it, the Molotov still remained a big issue there for the Bad News Eagles. Opening kill over at ramp, this time over, but there's an extra CT there for the aggression, and pushing forward, CJ spots the bomb.
Really great change up from Nouns in this last round. All they have to do is just try and keep themselves alive and start maybe getting Carson to flank in as well. The problem is keep themselves alive is something Marky's just not been able to do versus Rigon right here. CJ as well will be suffering a similar fate before Stamina finally gets a shutdown. Bomb's been recovered and it is headed over towards A. Low, so maybe there's something to work off of, but the AK is still just such a big advantage to have. Stamina is buying space and buying time for Carson to activate, but he knows he has to commit eventually, otherwise it'll be a little bit too obvious. Wide swings out, and now Carson, a 1-on-2, knows where these last players are, and he gets it done. Really nice jiggles will enable that second frag as when Juan Flatru was just caught in the open.
I'm not really cheering, but Stamina has had an exceptional CT side. I mean, hitting some nice shots.
Starting off, there's 4 CTs on this B bomb site, so it won't be an easy fight, but Carson makes it look anything but. Marky and B-Wills as well, they're just happy to bat up their scoreboard. That's what's going on over here. Nouns are being given, well, looks like a freebie, but honestly was pretty hard.
Because they've won both here on Mirage.
Parting gift. Maybe even a bit more? No, not quite. Carson will be able to keep himself alive, as will Juan Fletcher himself. Probably not, but yeah.
And just headshot them before they headshot you.
The Deagle rule, and let's see whether it can rule supreme as they head into yet another stack from the Bad News Eagles. A tendency you pointed out they don't have too much of, but now they are pulling out all the stops. B-Wills, though, is stopping them right there in their tracks. 3 quick kills, and again, dismantling stacks have never looked this easy. Statue of Liberty is originally from Europe, right? So I could see that happening. Regardless, nades going out, and Scenari is going to be intercepting a MAC-10 to the back, and looks like, again, the entry is just working out wonders. Market Smoke is late, but will not matter. GXX with a nade up in his face will not be able to prevent those players from crossing in. Now, the bomb is down for some reason next to the van, so recovering it does need a smoke down for themselves, and now actually Rigon and Juan Flatru have found a lot of space up in this 3v3. Will go and get the advantage as well. GXX gaining it all together. Great round from him.
Extra space you were talking about on short. Suddenly the positions from Nouns didn't feel that great. It was this quick flick, even though I don't know how he sees him. I genuinely don't know how he sees him. He's just... It might be a bald eagle floating...
The bald news eagles, yes.
Oh no.
That's... God.
That's a franchising decision.
They just moved to the NA. Marky has been able to find one. The grenade from Zenari is good for the trade. Carson as well will keep away Synopsy, so this 4v3 will be extended, or you'd think so. Synopsy is not a stranger to moving past flames. Also got CJ completely locked out in middle. Even a wall bang. GXX is on a heater right now. And CJ, how? Huh? That was the most made morsel I've ever seen, but he just can't get it down through his throat. GXX now has to do it all on his own, and he's happy to start off at least strong. B-Wills has had a performance and a half and will at least have the right idea, maybe not the right execution. CJ, to be crouch peeking forward, knows where Synopsy is. GXX's position is also given up. A Molotov will give up his position, and he can't back out, not this time.
Oh, he didn't know. They had no idea. Last spotted in middle, but he was also spotted on the pistols, which is something that the Bad News Eagles players, the whole roster, seems to be very adept at using. Chain of smokes, chain of flashes, and GXX finds one. Rig on, full blinded by Juan Flatro. It's a double kill for CJ as a result. A triple, in fact, for Nouns to take control of this A bomb site, and the rest are trapped behind smokes or too far away.
That's such a perfect setup as well for Rigon to just come through and succeed with a quick double kill.
Wait, I'm ollie down, and he's jumped onto the bomb. Is he just trying to keep him busy? Because Synopsy did have a kit, but it got there a little too...
Bit antsy about a potential underpass play to come out. Now, the smoke's going to be dissipating in a couple of seconds, and with the Molotov down behind him, Juan Flatcher will have to sit inside and try to phase it out. And as soon as he goes forward, there's actually Carson who's moved past him. Stamina and CJ, however, still keep things roaring and going. It's a single player now on this A bomb site. Two if you count Synopsy back in jungle. That Molotov does not go anywhere near as deep as it needed to, though, to cover him off. And they are ready. Marquis with a double swing. First player to just distract. Rigon keeps himself safe in a smoke. At least that's what he thinks. Stamina going to shoot him down regardless. Scenari moving past, and Marquis has been fantastic in this round. Two, Rigon spots out that first over in Palace. CJ, in his attempt to drop down, is covered off by Stamina. Deep Molotov to force away Rigon, but it's Juan Flatcher who's found Marquis and the equalizer with it. Can't really continue to pursue back for a flank in through A main. He knows he's been sussed out, so they'd rather collect through connector instead. This smoke is going to be refreshed either. They're throwing one for top cons, and that won't really matter. Juan Flatcher can't start moving through. Flashbang is great. CJ actually ends up blind from Juan Flatcher's flash, but it will be traded out from Juan himself. He gets two. Stamina still in the one-on-one. Can't get the adjustment, and BNE still alive.
Oh, and if he'd only known just how low Juan Flatcher was, he might have not taken that fight. Even with the flash that goes askew, which isn't the first time that's happened. Wait, CJ got that kill? He fired one bullet.
Yeah.
While blind.
True, there is double swing that could have been possible if there was a attempt from the back as well, but no. Nothing of the sort will be found in BNE. Collect with 2 and 3 easy frags.
No pulling the wool over their eyes this time. Almost spotted on short. They actually rotated a third man over to B, but they are resetting. They're actually setting up for a boost into ladder, and CJ, I don't think he's going to be expecting this one. Flash is drawing his attention. Eyes are all forward, and so that's an easy backstab. Lovely setup there from Bad News Eagles.
CJ's feeling that one.
Just simply a parting gift. Take that.
Hey, smoke. B-Will's not ready. Rigon comes out on top of a duel that maybe he didn't have too much of a right to otherwise. Generally do favor the player inside the smoke than outside of it. Ay.
Man, they've got money to throw away. Juan Flatcher in hot pursuit, but... Oh, God. Yeah, Stamina's heard him. Knows Juan Flatcher is around the corner and catches a glimpse of him, but neither exchanging more than glances. Two survivors here for Nouns. Last round of regulation.
Might have heard it bouncing off, but no, you're right. Probably shouldn't be the case. GXX, adjustment can't be made, even though there's no smoke down window. He doesn't find the frag. Juan Flatcher's been contained, and he will be trying to fire back through the smoke. It's CJ who comes out on top. Carson as well, right from the side with a double. Massive frags, and it's once again GXX and Rigon who've been getting so much of the action in the later stages of this game, but it might be Rigon dead to right. GXX needs 30 if he wants to close it out, or rather take it to overtime, and it will not be the case. Nouns finally get something to work for themselves, and it's off the back of a missed smoke.
I am astounded. Another 16-14 loss.
Well, Rigon, as he tries to aggress through lane, will be unable to find the initial frag. Damage through the smoke is there, but it's really more on. Their muscles are relaxed, but CJ's ready to flex on one. He's traded out quite quickly. GXX was a banger in Mirage, and now he's looking to go into 4 players all contained into the B house, and still somehow comes out with a kill, and Rigon right next to him. Marky finally gets a bunch of shots, and they're trying to get kills through the smoke. There's a body blocker as well. Get down, Mr. President. He will die, but at least he presses the buttons first.
In a donut, Rigon spamming away. Has to be careful. Reloading, that's a bad place to do it. Carson has him pinned in position. Rigon now understands he has to fight his way out of this spot. But it's all about assessing the numbers, and he's getting crunched in from both sides of donut. Stamina, a quick shot with the scout, and the following entry. GXX trying to disrupt, but found by Marky. No pressure from Temple. One Flatcher forced forward by the Molly, and now Scenari all alone. A 1-on-4 that he can get nothing accomplished in. A successful take of this A play, and
GXX! This man's hand is a guillotine. It is chopping down heads like it's what it's made to do.
oh my god.
Rigon now boosting up on top of GXX. He does drop down. One Flatcher with a 5-7 trying to do Marky dirty. Will finally get the frag. Rigon's boost also collects, in this force buy from the CTs is really finding a lot to work with. Rigon as well with a nice shot to end things. But there is a call here for BNE just because of how much space Synopsy has. And Rigon's the one to actually try and stop them from coming into CT as they do start to move forward. Rigon somehow gets that second as well. Don't know how. Didn't really look like he was on him, but hey man, that's just the M4 in his hands, I guess. GXX is low, but Synopsy's here to pick up the pace, and with 30 seconds, Marky's got no choice but to forfeit his life, and the round with it. Does end up getting domed down. Nouns now with the advantage. GXX will trying to retrieve it, and indeed he does. Marky is down, and that's the only real prong of attack there was available towards that A bomb site. So full retake situation over here on B. Stamina is retreating backwards. Once they get the bomb plant down as soon as possible. They do a Molotov for the post plant. GXX has found out the Cheetah player, and CJ is been taken down a bit too quickly. Eastside, very little util left, and CTs have got plenty of smoke and incendiary and 2 flashes. Scenari's found stamina for free. B-Will's position given up. He was fantastic on Mirage, but now spotted out by the short player. Will need to get the duel down, and they're just not contesting, not too quickly. Scenari taps him out with a USP, and Bad News Eagles get the defuse. And even just that, push through short is... push through lane is pretty expected in a late round situation like that. Good nade to start things off, but a Foster B play is how they want to execute. They are done with waiting, no more patience. The double kill, but it's traded out too quickly. 3-on-3 for the post plant as the T's are still leaving one player behind to watch out for a lane flank, but it'll never come. Rigon's gone through house instead. This deep nade, which reveals a position from Marky, is going to give them nothing. B-Wills is gone. Marky's position revealed earlier, like I mentioned. And BNE make it look easy, 7-1.
Sometimes he can go a little quieter, certain maps, and then he'll turn it on in others. Hasn't been the case here. Carson didn't fire off the first shot, but the flashes to follow were great.
Wow.
And the trades available here as well. A flurry of frags. A trio was, in fact. And GXX, he has been lightning quick. So at least bringing it to a closer scenario. B-Wills and Stamina not exactly in the healthiest of conditions.
Maybe there's room to play out this 2v2. Remember, B-Wills and Stamina are very low. So one will be set up nicely. Stamina's already moved past, going into short. B-Wills misses his chance, and now Juan does the same. Marky, the healthy player from the bunch, will be more than happy to be the one to take the duel.
Hunt an extra player down. These players need to vacate so far. Worst part is, I think in CS2, it actually is... It feels bigger. Somehow. I don't know why.
All the points. Neri, all the way through, has found Stamina and goes for 2. Why stop for one when you can go double up?
I can't knock the logic. Only we're always that simple.
Little peek around the corner. GXX is good for the first. Can't make it to. CJ will fall. Raygon and Tenacity are making it look easy. BNE are very comfortable. That's really all I can say. It is very comfortable. Well, Boss V plays is something they are no strangers to. Nouns have been well acquainted with this tactic, but not too well acquainted with success. This is at least a solid start. And with Molotovs that are well placed, GXX is the one navigating around them all. He is a ninja, but not one that will survive for too long. Synopsy is the only one left, and the jumping Mac-10 will also eliminate him. GXX.
They're barreling into this B-bomb site. They have 3 players, and actually a 4th that's ready to... there would have been a 4th, rather, if Marky could have made his way over, but died for his efforts in selling this fake, but they haven't taken the space. Bad News Eagles have rotated around the other way, and they're trying to re-navigate again?
To be fair, if the plan is just to wait for them to push through, it's happening now. B-Wills will get through! Plan C is Juan Fratro and Scenari. Home delivery. That's what it is, Michael. These are Americans, Michael. They know all about that home delivery. They do it right there. Stamina goes and collects another one. You've got to be kidding me. I know I'm joking, but also you've got to be kidding me. What a throw.
I am at a loss for words.
Yeah,
very precise.
Unlocked, man. That's all I know.
That is a round that should have never been won, but B-Wills is an absolute hero. And it's not just him. You know, he unlocks this round, but it's really the presence in from Stamina that solidifies it.
Oh. Flash on the floor. Carson is going to be able to face off versus Raygon, but the secondary flash is great. He's blind in that duel. Synopsy now has to cover off. Nade goes deep, but it won't really find too much. They've already moved past its radius. Synopsy inside the smoke. He's just trying to make chaos, but in the chaos he's losing teammates. CJ with a double entry and Stamina to cover off from any more CT aggression. These Molotovs are not the best, but you know what? At least one of them does land. And the flash is good as well. A reset back to B in the cards now.
Being 2-on-3, you going to respect the other bomb site?
Oh no, this is actually really a lot of information given up. They've also missed out the boost up initially. GXX knows there's multiple players. Marky! Marky! Maybe GXX just thought it was one player trying to fake it all out with that sound. He's just not ready.
Harry hasn't fully committed either, but there's too many men to deal with. Nouns are on the path.
Juan Fracho is already waiting behind the smoke, waiting for it to dissipate, so he has a chance to spot out some feet first. Smoke again, though. And he is going to be waiting to maybe try and phase this one out. But the push through from the CTs, Juan Fracho as well will reveal position. Scenari keeps it going. Synopsy there to back him up. And now it's a 2v5, one that even BNE and their aggressive tendencies shouldn't be able to throw away. I spoke too soon. Carson is still in play. Wants to take a second duel, but no, BNE. An advantage they will not give up.
Nouns brought to 2 HP on Marky. And Raygon can't quite find the head of Carson, just peppering him up. CJ, that looks like a stray bullet almost. GXX was always trying to transition, just try and jump up on tree. And yeah, this is falling apart rather rapidly here for Nouns. I do find GXX, but both these players are low enough that one bullet will do them in. Didn't even need to be a headshot, but it is anyway.
Putting my hands together for that. Juan's found B-Wills. So this won't be the round, but They will at the very least be able to collect together on this B-bomb site quickly. CJ's found one in return, and they're pushing through the smoke with some great flashes. CJ's continuing to fight through. Now, right back into the smoke he goes, and fighting around it so well. Carson's found some space for himself. Tenacity seems to be the only one doing damage, and Scenari's gone. An AK recovered for Carson will make it even more difficult, as he can send Stamina right back over to this A bomb site. Even could maybe go into middle, but he'll have heard the audible if I'm not wrong.
Sort of forecasting where he was going to go, but is rerouted, and Carson's on a quick flank. A perfect position to have put himself into. Synopsis is going to think that cave is clear because how quickly this man is coming in on the backstab, so Carson has him locked in. It's pistols won by both respective T-side teams, but the second round is overturned by CTs. One player would reload, the other one would try and take fights more, but just too many members to deal with. A great plan, a great idea. Fast through mid, Scenario taking a lot of damage to nades, and he'll go up in flames.
Oh, good nade. Looking for the AK, but they've found an AK in Carson's hand instead. Maybe be careful about the 5v3 aggression on the CT side, right? Of course, he's just trying to get some information. Long-range duel is always good to get, regardless. Oh, bomb dropped.
And they're confident players. Especially with the way that they've been playing. Nouns are going to be... I swear. I know it was flashes that they were lining up. They just want to see if they can overwhelm. Into Donut they go. CJ challenging and full blinded. Glocks overwhelm him, and that's a rifle recovered, and Juan Flatcher will put it to good use. A secondary kill, a double entry onto this A site, and a 5-on-3 now as they get their hands on another rifle. Juan Flatcher dropped, but inside of the bomb site, there's Synopsy actually on the headshot angle, finding Carson. A 2-on-3 and a flank accomplished as well. GXX making the long wrap through Temple. GXX finds the headshot. Marquis caught between a rock and a hard place and has to pull out a pistol of his own. There's no armor, so this Glock does so much damage. Sticking the defuse. Rigon has the AK and he's scared of the spam. He knows he doesn't have armor, and Rigon doesn't know if he's on it, but he's got the clutch. A one-on-one that's so crucial. Bad News Eagles do it with Glocks.
News Eagles gets... They just go ahead and they get themselves... entire rounds. That's the advantage of two flashes right there. Honestly, that's literally just a flashbang getting them the kill and Donut, giving Juan Flatcher that AK. Now, great execution. We'll actually have a second player lurking into middle late from Juan Flatcher, so with him making this much noise, it's a possibility that CJ might misread this as no one being in red room, and no, Synopsy is detected, but he gets a kill. The only kill they've had all round long.
"10 seconds. They certainly know where he was last positioned. They get eyes on him, and on his retreat, he will fall. He does fall within the timer, so that's...
I'm not too sure about how it goes, but they basically like sort of operate some of the team by committee in some regards. It's kind of interesting, you know? Regardless, Foster play out towards A. BNE have found success on this site before, but this is a new method that they are attempting. Stamina is taking shots through a smoke aplenty. And as the CT start to try and push through that very smoke, Juan Flatcher is there to intercept. Only good for the one as Stamina is covering off Candle for a while longer. Not too long, though. GXX has right into the position, and the P250 once again delivering. These half-bites from the Eagles have been lethal, and nothing short of it.
Yeah, Carson has to save.
Too many. That's all I know. Carson is still considering getting aggressive down lane, though, but that grenade from Juan Flatcher reads it perfectly. Takes him down, and Marquis is left all alone. Poor guy.
Rigon even wallbanged him, serving as bait. Someone dropped a piece of util somewhere, but Stamina cannot find it for the life of him.
Carson, though, has found a kill, so you are back to the position where an MP9's found a frag and an AK to be recovered as well. Carson will be happy with that. His hand's been hot, and it continues to be as such. The flash is late. And so are two of the members of BNE.
5-on-3. Can't let this one fall out of favor. Bad News Eagles had let one slip on their CT side, but that entry from Recon is fantastic. Two more players take his place, though, and CJ knocks them down with the 5-7. It's a GXX ult to clutch, but it's taken out of his hands. They are set up for this burst, though. As soon as this smoke fades, they're going.
Scenario. Boost needs to be dealt with. And it won't be. B-Will's ready and waiting. Marky will be able to drop down here, and now the bomb can be planted from behind the pillar. And as soon as the shadow is spotted, B-Wills wanted to swing out as well with Marky, but was blocked out by it instead. Now, they're not going to be prepared for 3 players to be coming out from B house, but they're still keeping an eye out for it. Recon has spotted out 2 of them, and Stamina playing containment from CT means this is a very difficult 3v3 for the CTs to actually get onto the bomb site. GXX finds Stamina, and Synopsy will be able to funnel them forward. They felt like they have nowhere to go but into the site. Couldn't even look to save. Scale upwards come through. Carson's lone M4 is so far away. Huh. He got that as a headshot. That would have been kind of wild. Molotov is nicely placed, but it's very late, so can't deny the bomb from being planted or anything like it. Juan's found B-Wills for free, and these 4 CTs that remain are really going to be funneled into a death squad. Almost no way to move past this over here. Synopsy is good for the first. There's a team flash as well, so the CTs can't progress forward. Juan Flacho can just cover them all off. BNE close it out 16-12. It gets labored, but they do get it done and eliminate the North American opposition.
Yeah, Nouns did a great job of showing a brave face, but the Bad News Eagles were always going to be a tough opponent to face.